Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, and I'm pretty sure you all do by now, today I'm going to teach you about being prepared. I'm going to show you some things that you need to do. I'm going to show you some reasons why you need to do them. And hopefully, when you leave today, you'll understand the importance of being prepared. Because if you're not, you could end up like some of the people you're going to see shortly. 7 P's are the most important thing in life. 7 P's are prior, proper, planning, prevents, poor performance. If you do those, your life will go so much smoother. I want to warn you that we've got some pictures coming up right next. There's no blood, there's no guts. But if you've been through a traumatic situation, it might bring up some emotions with you. Where do you think this is at? You got a town on fire. Kind of looks like a war zone, doesn't it? Definitely looks like a war zone. The whole town is burned up. Soldiers are walking the streets. Massive devastation. Kind of looks like a Mad Max movie, doesn't it? Is it a disaster movie? No, it's not a disaster movie. This man's got everything he owns in that plastic bag. Armed men are walking the streets. People don't know what to do. They're just sitting around. There's a soldier down there on the bottom left. Things are burning. This man's running for his life. Destruction, mayhem, chaos, searching for survivors in the bodies. These people may or may not have lost loved ones or everything they own, and these people were not prepared. Neither were these. These men were, apparently, because they've got handguns in the street. That's the only handguns I'm going to talk about. Were we talking about third world country here? No. Smoke, these guys are hiding. The police, powerless, just like I told you in my last speech. They can't do anything with that. Trying to put out a fire with a 5-gallon bucket. Another soldier walking the street, armed. Driving through town with armor. There's a hint there. Over there. They just came out of McDonald's. They just had lunch. Armed men walking the streets again. Total devastation in an entire area. Where are we? We've got people standing on roads. This couple's happy to be alive. There's a clue there on that song. That's right. That is the United States of America. And that can happen right here, anytime. Those incidents were from the Los Angeles Lakers riots. They've also happened in Chicago, Miami, pick a big city, Seattle. Rodney King verdicts, when they came out with Rodney King verdict, and the Hurricane Katrina aftermath. All in America. Prepare yourself. It can happen here. What will you do if it does? And do you have a plan? That's what I'm going to talk to you about today. Aesop's Fable. Everybody heard of Aesop's Fable, the ant and the grasshopper. The ant was fastidious, and he worked hard all summer while the weather was nice, gathered food, made his home comfortable. The grasshopper sat back playing a violin. The grasshopper kept telling the ant, "What are you doing?" Winter came along, and the grasshopper about died until the ant was kind enough to bring him in, and the grasshopper survived. What could happen here? An earthquake. We do have them. They happen everywhere. Major power outages. Major storms. We get storms, but we haven't seen a major storm. Terrorist attacks, entirely possible anywhere in the country. Political upheaval. In the current day and age, that's entirely possible, and the next step after political upheaval is often civil unrest. Any of those items could put you in a situation where those people in the pictures were. These things can and do happen. And what will you do if it happens to you here? For shelter. You need a place to live. Your house may not be safe. You must have a plan. A tent, an RV, a friend's house, your vehicle even if you must. It has to be comfortable, and you must have a source of emergency heat that's not reliant on the system. What will you do for water when the tap doesn't work? It will run dry. If you have a well, you need to have a system in place to get water out of your well. Some of the wells are 200, 300 feet deep. Can you get water out of that with no power? Sterilization and filtration system. You need to think about just these things. You don't have to have everything, but you need to have a plan in place to deal with these issues. What will you do for food when the stores are empty? You don't need to go out and buy a bunch of survival rations. You don't have to spend a bunch of money. Just buy shelf-storable items that are easy to prepare because you're not going to have your kitchen. Get bulk staples like rice, canned meat, fruits, vegetables. Just buy a little bit here and there. Never let those shelves get bare because you never know when a foot of snow is going to hit and you're going to be unable to get to town for 2 or 3 days. And if you're out of food, you're going to go to the store tomorrow. It's too late. What we do for medicines. Everyone that's life dependent on medication, Coumadin, some anesthesia meds, I can't name them all, but there's lots of them. You've got to have an emergency supply of those prescription medicines and never let it get below that point. If you go down to the last 2 or 3 days worth and then go fill it, what happens if you got a week stuck in your house? You're out of meds. You need to get over-the-counter meds, antibiotics, disinfectants, Motrin, Tylenol, aspirin, those kinds of things. And you need a major first aid kit because there will be no doctors, there will be no nurses available. You will be on your own. Now we're talking worst case. What will you do for self-defense? No guns here. There will be no cops because there's 3,186 police officers for every American citizen, and they're all going to be chasing their families, trying to save them. They don't have time for you. They don't have time for you when there isn't civil unrest and desolation. You're on your own. Just like the ant, the grasshoppers are going to look for you. You're going to be a target. But this is not a fable. This is your life. It's very important. What will you do for money? The banks aren't going to be open. ATMs, bills, coins that are made after 1965 are going to be worthless. And we're not talking a week here. We're talking if it's a month, 2 months. People are not going to take that paper money because they can't feed themselves with it. Food, weapons, ammunition, gold, and silver. And silver comes in the form of 1965 with 4 coins as well. Will be priceless. 365 coins. Don't keep it in a safe deposit box. Your emergency stash of money is in a safe deposit box and the bank's not open. You're back to ground zero. What will you do? Think about all the little things. Pet food. You got to feed pets. Spare eyeglasses if you can't see without eyeglasses. Toiletries. And the list goes on and on and on. You have to think about it. When will your attitude change? Before or after it's too late? If you're the ant, grasshoppers will seek you out. And you have to make an attitude change that you and your family will do first. You need to get started. Start getting emergency supplies. Make a plan with your family. And make arrangements for a meeting place because you're probably going to be spread to all points of the compass when it happens because it's never convenient. In summary, I've told you why you need to be prepared. I've told you the things that you need to think about. And you need to change your attitude. You need to get started. Don't think about it. Do it now, before it is too late. These people were not prepared, and now their hands are in someone else's lives. Their lives are in someone else's hands. Thank you.